83 refers to the year 1983 when William was 6.
Hmm.
And
No worries or stresses.
yeah, and he wanted to be Superman. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, 83 is for right now, it's nostalgic for me because I remember all the times I used to listen to it too.
Hmm.
And
When you listen to the song, yeah.
and now if you listen to it, and it's the song itself is quite nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like it talks more about you know how Mayor wants his how Mayor doesn't want what he's getting, and he'd rather be 6 again and
Yeah.
6 feet small,
It
etc.
goes back to a lot of the things like we said before, right? This being like being in your 20s, sort of facing the world for the first time, having all these like responsibilities and stress and pressure.
Yeah,
And it's like there's this element of you kind of just want to go back to being a kid. I guess
true.
there's a point at which when you're growing, because when you're young you always want to be older, right? When you're 6 you always want to be 7, you always want to be 8. I remember like lying about my age trying to seem older to like guests, so when I was like a very young age. So like people, when you're young you always want to be older because you feel like, oh, being
Yeah,
older is cool, being a kid is dumb. But then there's this point, I guess, when you grow older, you kind of realize that actually all the fun was there when I was a kid. Now there's too many responsibilities and as an adult. And it's one of those struggles of being in your 20s or early 20s and coming to these realizations. So I feel like it goes back to this whole sort of all these tracks really being his experiences of transitioning into his 20s and following his dreams and all the stresses and struggles that come with someone trying to follow their dreams as opposed to going the normal route of just getting a regular job, and those things, like going against the norms a lot. And I think this song reflects that a little bit.
and he also talks about like himself at that's something a lot of 23, 24 year olds kind of realize at that age, because he talks about it like, these days I feel like I was 6 again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lyric in the song which is called Wrapped Around Your Finger, which is a reference to a song by Police, which released in 1983.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so like listening to Wrapped Around Your Finger, and
Yeah, yeah.
then it goes back to 83.
Yeah, it feels like most of
So
these songs he probably wrote between probably the ages of, I want to say, like 18 to 23 when this album came out. Like it was very much his transition period into 20s, and when you really become independent and okay, if you want to follow your dream, what does that mean? So like with Why Georgia, it was moving
maybe
to
that was his plan,
Atlanta,
like
doing these
coming
things.
from maybe that was his plan, like coming from the EP that he dropped in '99, and
Yeah,
like he wanted to get the word out, and
yeah.
that there is someone who's trying to do something,
Mm.
and because that was his mission with this album as well, which is quite clear. And like there's this guy trying to do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to break the norms. He doesn't want to listen to anyone. He doesn't want to do what